Welcome to G&Amp-H documentary YouTube channel. In this video, we will talk about sharks, attacks, types, and AMP facts. Before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to G&Amp-H documentary channel for future updates. Sharks are elasmobranch fish with a cartilaginous skeleton, 5 to 7 gill slits on the sides of the head, and unfused pectoral fins. Modern sharks belong to the clade Selachimorpha or Selachii, which is the rays sister group. The title shark has also been applied to extinct members of the Elasmobranchii subclass, which are technically not part of the Selachimorpha group. Cladoselache, Xenacanthus, and several other Chondrichthyes members, such as the holocephalic eugenedontidans, are notable examples of incorrect classification. The earliest known sharks, according to this larger definition, extend back more than 420 million years. Acanthodians are commonly referred to as spiny sharks, despite the fact that they are a paraphyletic collection that leads to cartilaginous fish in general. Sharks have evolved into nearly 500 different species since then. They range in size from the little dwarf lanternshark, Etmopterus perryi, a deep water species that is only 17 centimeters, 6.7 in, long, to the world's largest fish, the whale shark, Rhincodon typus, which may reach a length of 12 meters, 40 feet. Sharks can be found in all oceans, and at depths of up to 2,000 meters, 6,600 feet. Although there are a few known exceptions, such as the bull shark and the river shark, which may be found in both seawater and freshwater, they normally do not dwell in freshwater. Sharks have a layer of dermal denticles on their skin that protects them from parasites and improves their fluid dynamics. They have several sets of teeth that may be replaced. A number of animals are apex predators, or organisms at the very top of the food chain. The tiger shark, blue shark, great white shark, mako shark, thresher shark, and hammerhead shark are just a few examples. Humans catch sharks for shark meat and shark fin soup. Human activities are putting several shark populations in jeopardy. Shark populations have declined by 71% since 1970, owing primarily to overfishing. Shark teeth are permanently buried in the gums rather than being attached to the jaw, and they are replaced on a regular basis. In comparison to a conveyor belt, multiple rows of new teeth develop in a groove on the inside of the jaw and move forward steadily. Some sharks lose 30,000 or more teeth in their lifespan. The frequency with which teeth are replaced ranges from once every 8 to 10 days to many months. In most species, teeth are replaced one at a time, rather than in the cookie-cutter shark's case, when a complete row is replaced at once. Sharks that eat mollusks and crustaceans have dense, flattened teeth that are used for crushing, while those that eat fish have needle-like teeth that are used for gripping, and those that eat larger prey-like mammals have pointed lower teeth for gripping and triangular upper teeth with serrated edges for cutting. Plankton-feeding sharks, such as the basking shark, have small, non-functional teeth. The skeletons of sharks and other bony fish and terrestrial animals are substantially different. Sharks and other cartilaginous fish, such as skates and rays, have cartilage and connective tissue skeletons. Cartilage is flexible and long-lasting, although it has just half the density of bone. This saves energy by reducing the skeleton's weight. Because sharks lack rib cages, they are readily crushed by their own weight while they are on shore. Sharks, like rays and skates, have jaws that are not linked to the cranium. Due to its significant exposure to physical stress and need for strength, the jaw's surface, in comparison to the shark's vertebrae and gill arches, need extra support. It has a covering of tiny hexagonal plates known as tesserae, which are calcium salt crystal blocks arranged in a mosaic pattern. This provides these places with a lot of the same strength as bone tissue in other animals. Sharks' jaws typically feature only one layer of tesserae, although huge individuals like the bull shark, tiger shark, and great white shark have 2 to 3 layers or more, depending on body size. A huge great white shark's jaws might have up to 5 layers. The cartilage of the rostrum, snout, can be spongy and flexible to absorb the force of strikes. Fin skeletons are extended and supported by ceratotrichia, soft and unsegmented elastic protein filaments that resemble horny keratin in hair and feathers. The majority of sharks have 8 fins. Because sharks' fins prevent them from moving in a tail-first direction, they can only drift away from items directly in front of them. A scanning electron microscope image of a lemon shark's dermal denticles. Sharks have a sophisticated dermal corset comprised of flexible collagenous fibers that surrounds their body in a helical network, unlike bony fish. This serves as an exterior skeleton, allowing them to attach their swimming muscles and therefore conserve energy. Their dermal teeth provide hydrodynamic benefits by reducing turbulence during swimming. Some shark species have pigmented outer skin layers beneath the denticles that generate complex patterns like spots and stripes, example, the zebra shark, e.g. tiger shark. These marks are vital for camouflage, as they help sharks blend in with their surroundings and make them harder to spot by prey. Even after portions have been eliminated by injury, patterning reappears to the repaired dermis in some animals. Tails produce thrust, hence tail shape affects speed and acceleration. Due to their evolution in different habitats, shark species have a wide range of caudal fin morphologies. Sharks have a heterocercal caudal fin, which has a dorsal section that is usually larger than the ventral. Because the shark's vertebral column extends into that dorsal section, more surface area for muscle attachment is available. This permits these negatively buoyant cartilaginous fish to move more efficiently. Most bony fish, on the other hand, have a homocercal caudal fin. Tiger sharks have a broad upper lobe that permits them to cruise slowly and suddenly. To sustain its diversified diet, the tiger shark must be able to readily twist and turn in the water when hunting, but the poor beagle shark, which hunts schooling fish like mackerel and herring, has a big lower lobe to help it keep up with its fast-swimming prey. Other tail adaptations, such as the thresher shark's use of its powerful, elongated upper lobe to stun fish and squid, help sharks catch prey more directly. Sharks have powerful olfactory receptors, which are located in the short duct, which is not fused, unlike bony fish, between the anterior and posterior nasal openings, and some species can detect blood in seawater as low as 1 part per million. The size of the olfactory bulb varies between shark species, depending on how much a particular species relies on smell or vision to locate prey. Shark species with larger olfactory bulbs have larger olfactory bulbs in low visibility situations. Sharks in the Carcarinidae family have smaller olfactory bulbs in reefs where visibility is high. The olfactory bulbs of sharks residing in deeper waters are likewise larger. Based on the time of scent recognition in each nostril, sharks can discern the direction of a given scent. This is comparable to how mammals figure out which way the sound is coming from. They are drawn to chemicals found in the intestines of many animals, and as a result, they frequently congregate near or in sewage outfalls. External barbels on some species, such as nurse sharks, considerably improve their capacity to detect prey. Shark eyes have lenses, corneas, and retinas that are comparable to those of other vertebrates, but their eyesight is well suited to the marine environment thanks to a tissue called tapetum lucidum. This tissue is located below the retina and reflects light back to it, improving sight in low-light situations. The tissue's efficacy varies, with some sharks having better nocturnal adaptations than others. Many sharks, like humans, can contract and dilate their pupils, which no teleost fish can accomplish. Sharks have eyelids, but they don't blink since the water in their environment cleans them. Some species have nictitating membranes to protect their eyes. When the shark is hunting or being attacked, this membrane conceals its eyes. Some species, such as the great white shark, Carcharodon carcharias, lack this membrane and instead roll their eyes backwards to protect themselves when they strike prey. It's debatable how important sight is in shark hunting behavior. Some people believe that electro and chemoreception are more important, while others believe that sight is important because of the nictating membrane. If the shark's eyes were unimportant, it's unlikely that it would protect them. The use of sight is likely to vary depending on the species and the water conditions. At any time, the shark's field of vision can switch between monocular and stereoscopic. In a microspectrophotometry examination of 17 shark species, researchers discovered that 10 had just rod photoreceptors and no cone cells in their retinas, giving them good night vision but colorblindness. The remaining 7 species had a single type of cone photoreceptor sensitive to green in addition to rods, and are thought to be colorblind, perceiving only in hues of gray and green. According to the findings, an object's contrast against the background, rather than its color, may be more essential for detecting it. Although it is difficult to test sharks' hearing, they may have a keen sense of hearing and can detect prey from great distances. Most shark species have hearing sensitivity between 20 and 1000 Hz. A tiny tube flows straight into the inner ear from a little orifice on each side of their heads, not the spiracle. The lateral line has a similar structure and is exposed to the environment through a series of lateral line pores. This serves as a reminder of the common ancestor of the acoustico-lateralis system, which consists of two vibration and sound-detecting organs. The external aperture into the inner ear has been removed in bony fish and tetrapods. Lorenzini's ampullae are the electroreceptor organs. There are hundreds to thousands of them. Sharks use their Lorenzini ampullae to sense electromagnetic fields produced by all living things. This aids sharks in locating prey, particularly hammerhead sharks. The shark is the most electrically sensitive animal on the planet. Sharks use their electromagnetic fields to discover prey hidden in the sand. Sharks can use electric fields generated by ocean currents traveling in the Earth's magnetic field for orientation and perhaps navigation. Mike Remage has spotted less than a half-dozen sharks while surfing the choppy seas of the Outer Banks during the previous 13 years. Remage, moreover, has never been attacked by a shark. Remage avoids surfing places where birds are feeding on bait fish to avoid being bitten by a shark. According to Remage, an aquarist at the NC Aquarium on Roanoke Island, the noise from that type of feeding activities may attract sharks. Many experts agree that swimmers and surfers can avoid shark attacks by following basic precautions. A shark attack is a potential hazard that everybody who frequents marine waters should be aware of, but it should be maintained in context, says George Burgess, director of the International Shark Attack File ISAF in Florida. A shark attack is a potential hazard that everybody who frequents marine waters should be aware of, but it should be maintained in context. Although the chances of being bitten by a shark are slim, a series of shark attacks in U.S. seas last year terrified beachgoers. The attacks, which included one on the Outer Banks last fall, drew widespread media attention, giving the impression that 2001 was a particularly bad year for shark attacks. However, according to Burgess, the number of attacks in the United States was nearly comparable to the prior year, 54 in 2000 and 55 in 2001. The international total of 76 attacks in 2001 was 11% fewer than the 85 attacks in 2000. More importantly, according to Burgess, a Florida Sea Grant researcher, the number of serious attacks, as judged by the fatality rate, was less than half of what it had been in the previous decade. Over the last century, the number of shark attacks has increased as a result of human population growth and parallel increases in water activity, Burgess says. Over the last century, the number of shark attacks has increased as a result of human population growth and parallel increases in water activity. Shark populations on the East Coast. Shark attacks have also been connected to the management of fisheries and conservation activities. NOAA Fisheries adopted a shark fishery management plan in 1993, limiting shark catch in commercial and recreational fisheries. Data collecting programs, permission and reporting requirements, shark bycatch reduction in all fisheries, and encouraging shark fishermen's safety at sea were all part of the plan. Sharks in the Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of Mexico, and Caribbean Sea are subject to the restrictions. According to Margot Scholzhaugen, a fishery biologist of NOAA Fisheries Headquarters Highly Migratory Species Management Division, the East Coast shark population is not in recovery. Based on NOAA Fisheries' 1998 assessment, the East Coast shark population is not in recovery, based on NOAA Fisheries' 1998 assessment. Shark populations grow slowly and reproduce at low rates due to significant biological constraints, according to Robert E. Huter, director of the Center for Shark Research at Mote Marine Laboratory in Sarasota, Florida. Sharks, unlike their bony fish siblings, do not lay thousands or millions of eggs. Sharks mate like mammals when they reach adulthood, which can take a dozen years or more in certain species, and the females become pregnant and carry their growing offspring inside them. In many ways, sharks breed more like humans than other animals, Huter explains. And, unlike other fish, sharks are unable to generate a large number of young quickly enough to restore an area that has been reduced by overfishing. When sharks are overfished, the stocks can stay reduced for decades after the fishing has stopped, simply because these creatures take so long to develop and generate a new generation. The U.S. Department of Commerce's Shark Population Assessment Group and NOAA's Panama City Laboratory have considerable shark population statistics. Sharks, sometimes known as top predators, play an essential role in the ocean and are typically found at the top of the food chain. Sharks have a vital ecological role in the waters, analogous to huge predators on land, adds Huter, past president of the American Elasmobranch Society. As apex predators, sharks have an impact on all levels below them, and few other species can take their place if sharks become extinct. Sharks of various species. The world's oceans are home to around 400 different shark species. According to Frank J. Schwartz, a researcher at the University of North Carolina Institute for Marine Sciences, there are more than 50 species of sharks, sawfish, skates, and rays that swim in North Carolina's estuaries and ocean waters. Only a handful of these species, however, are hazardous to swimmers, surfers, and divers. The blacktip shark, Cartilaginous limbatus, which has black tips on its pectoral fins and develops to only around 6 feet, is the most common species for biting along North Carolina beaches and along the East Coast. The spinner shark, Cartilaginous brevipinna, which is notable for its black-tipped fins and long snout, is another species that bites. The black-nosed shark, Cartilaginous acrinotus, which has a black/dusky smudge on the top of its snout, and the Atlantic sharp-nosed shark, Rhizoprianodon terranovi, which is identified by its long, thin shape and often pale patches on its body, are smaller species that swim close to shore. The bull shark, Cartilaginous lucas, which is distinguished by its short, roughly spherical head, small eyes, and subtriangular serrated teeth, is the most deadly shark in surf zones along the southeastern coast. This species can reach a length of 9 feet and feeds on huge prey. Bull sharks enter estuaries and freshwater, Huter explains. Last July, a bull shark attacked an 8-year-old in the waters off Pensacola, Florida, just a few feet from the shore. Where do the majority of shark attacks happen? Sharks frequently feed in nearshore waters, usually inshore of a sandbar or between sandbars, where they might become caught at low tide. Attack spots are also likely to be found in areas with high drop-offs. Sharks cluster in the area because their natural prey congregates there as well. Shark attacks come in a variety of forms. The most prevalent sort of shark attack in the surf zone is a hit-and-run attack on swimmers and surfers. After inflicting a single bite or slash wound, the victim rarely sees the assailant and the shark does not return. While bump and bite and stealth attacks are less prevalent, they result in more injuries and fatalities. These assaults mainly target divers or swimmers in deeper seas, but they can also happen close to shore in various parts of the world. The shark circling and often bumping the victim prior to the actual attack is known as a bump and bite attack. Sneak attacks are distinct in that they strike without warning. According to the ISAF, 2/3 of the attacks in the United States take place in Florida's Volusia County, which includes the beaches of Daytona and New Smyrna. The high number of incidences is due to very high aquatic recreational use of its beautiful waters by Florida residents and tourists, particularly surfers, says Burgess, head of the University of Florida's Florida Program for Shark Research. At Avon on the North Carolina Outer Banks, one swimmer died and another was injured last year. According to the ISAF, there were 13 unprovoked shark attacks in North Carolina waters from 1991 to 2001, with one fatality. Although the probability of shark attacks on humans is low, swimmers and surfers can assist prevent attacks by remembering Huter's simple slogan. The high number of incidences is due to very high aquatic recreational use of its beautiful waters by Florida residents and tourists, particularly surfers. To put it another way, from May to September, swimmers and surfers in the southeast can reduce their danger by entering the sea long after sunrise, after 9 a.m., and exiting well before sundown by 5 p.m. Large sharks are more active at dusk and at night, when they have less visual information to work with. The International Shark Attack File, ISAF, investigated 96 suspected shark attacks in 2006, concluding that 62 were unprovoked attacks and 16 were provoked attacks. Between 2001 and 2006, unprovoked shark attacks claimed the lives of 4.3 people per year on average around the world. Only a few sharks are dangerous to humans, contrary to popular assumption. Only 4 shark species, the great white, oceanic whitetip, tiger, and bull, have been implicated in a large number of deadly, unprovoked attacks on people. These sharks are huge, dangerous predators that may attack and kill humans on occasion. Despite their involvement in human attacks, they have all been photographed without the need of a protective cage. The media coverage of a few isolated unprovoked attacks, such as the 1916 Jersey Shore shark attacks, and popular fictional works about shark attacks, such as the Jaws film series, have popularized the notion of sharks as dangerous animals. Later on, both Jaws author Peter Benchley and Jaws director Steven Spielberg tried to remove the image of sharks as man-eating monsters. To avert an unprovoked assault, humans should avoid wearing flashy jewelry or metal, and avoid splashing around excessively. Sharks don't seem to have a preference towards attacking humans in general. According to research, it's probable that when humans are attacked by sharks, the shark mistook them for species that are normally prey for sharks, such as seals. How to stay away from shark attacks. The International Shark Attack File, ISAF, offers guidelines for avoiding sharks as swimmers or surfers enter the water. Sharks are more likely to attack a solitary individual if they are not in a group. Do not venture too far from the shore because this isolates a person and places them too far away from help. Because a shark's sense of smell is extremely sensitive, do not enter the water if you are bleeding from an open wound or menstruating. Because reflected light resembles the sheen of fish scales, avoid wearing shiny jewelry. When the water is murky, employ additional caution, and avoid uneven tanning and bright-colored clothing because sharks can perceive contrast quite well. Excessive splashing should be avoided, and pets should not be let in the water due to their unpredictable movements. Remember that sharks and porpoises consume the same food, so seeing one does not mean the other isn't there. When in the area between the sandbars or near steep drop-offs where sharks congregate, exercise caution. If sharks are present, do not enter the water, and if sharks are observed, get out of the water immediately. Despite misinformation in the media that shark attacks are on the increasing, such attacks on humans are extremely rare, and much more so when they are fatal. While the total number of shark attacks has increased in recent years, the rate per capita has remained unchanged. Because our species is experiencing a major population increase, more people are spending time in the water, especially as aquatic recreation opportunities expand, and therefore more of us are at danger of encountering an elasmobranch. We're also creating considerably more effective techniques of documenting and categorizing these encounters, which may have gone unreported in the past, and, perhaps most importantly, we're learning more about why shark interactions happen in the first place, despite their rarity. Until recently, the oversimplified popular knowledge blamed shark attacks on people on misplaced feeding efforts. That is, we used to believe that sharks took a bite or two out of humans because they looked like food, but in most cases, sharks decided they weren't, to the often fatal detriment of the bather. As it turns out, this isn't totally accurate. However, following extensive research into shark behavior, a number of other factors that contribute to shark attacks have emerged. The notion of surfers with their arms swinging off their boards being mistaken for seals by sharks from below has mostly been abandoned. Sharks have incredible vision and would never mistake a surfer for a seal. In turbid seas, however, the unpredictable motion of humans, as well as the contrast between their skin and their clothing, might cause sharks to become confused. Many shark encounters are thought to occur due to simple confusion, especially in shallower waters near shore, where smaller species such as blacktip and spinner sharks may go to feed on schools of smaller fish. In the churned-up waves of a busy beach, the shark, programmed to snap at anything that looks somewhat like a thrashing fish, such as a foot with a tan top and paler bottom, might bite a human. In most cases, these encounters end with a single bite from the shark, following which the shark flees. But, if sharks don't see surfers and other swimmers in deeper water as food, why are they attacked? There is solid evidence from survivors of attacks suggesting that great white sharks, along with bull and tiger sharks, were simply inspecting what they perceived to be foreign items in the water. The majority of attacks haven't resembled the spectacular hunting skills used by white sharks when they're on the hunt for seals. When a pinniped is on the menu, the white shark will attack from below, breaking the surface and throwing the animal into the air before diving in to feed. Human encounters, on the other hand, are significantly less explosive. One surfer, in fact, did not detect a shark until it was chewing on his surfboard. That's correct, there's a word for it: nibbling. This is not a devouring situation. Even deadly shark attacks usually end with the shark fleeing after a bite or two, disinterested in devouring the poor swimmer. Another theory has been proposed, based on the force with which these species are capable of attacking. The sharks are just interested, and because they are the main predators in most ocean ecosystems, they aren't afraid. Sharks use their jaws as finely tuned sense organs, causing them to mouth unknown objects in order to examine them and assess their potential food value. Their gums and slightly movable teeth are so sensitive that it's been suggested that they can tell how much fat a potential prey item contains. The blubbery BMIs of seals and sea lions are far below that of humans. In the worst-case scenario, such encounters are the consequence of sharks consciously deciding whether or not it's worth eating a human, rather than really trying to eat one. Sharks do not make mistakes during such attacks, which is a key distinction. They're behaving in a purposeful, goal-oriented manner that may or may not have damaging consequences for the human subject of curiosity. Shark territoriality is another reason that could be at play. Sharks have a distinct dominant structure, yet they do not hold territories in the same way as terrestrial predators do. It's a straightforward system: the biggest sharks get the finest hunting areas. Smaller shark incursions are discouraged, and intruders are expelled, if necessary, forcibly. Some shark encounters could be the consequence of the shark's inherent impulse to guard its food source from all intruders. Whatever the cause of shark attacks is, we are far more dangerous to them than they are to us. We have destroyed their numbers, taking an estimated 100 million each year, both intentionally and bycatch. Fining is the technique of harvesting a shark's lateral, dorsal, and lower tail fins by commercial fishing companies and others worldwide. After the shark is caught and its fins removed, its body is often dumped overboard to conserve weight and shipping space. The practice is said to have started in China around 1000 CE, largely to furnish fins for shark fin soup fed to visitors at social events. While most shark fin items are traded through Hong Kong, some are exported to restaurants around the world. The annual global demand for shark fin soup leads to tens of millions of sharks being killed. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.